Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3.
Testing.
Just
1, 2,
introduce
3.
yourself.
Hello, I'm Eleni.
Nice.
Nice.
Okay, let's see how that sounds. I don't know why I had to turn it on to cough. The point of this radio show is that essentially it's called Time Waster Radio, and no one has to listen.
Perfect.
So, yeah. I only have a couple things I like to do. I'm gonna roll a cigarette while we get started. The first thing I like to do is I like to sing the theme song for the show with the guest. And do you know how it goes?
No.
Okay, hold on. So, the theme song is Time Waster Radio. Radio for those who refuse to listen.
Okay, let's try that.
You want to try it?
Yeah?
Okay. Time Waster Radio. Radio for those who refuse to listen.
Perfect. There you go.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. Today on the show we have Eleni.
Tsamadia.
Tsamadia.
Yes.
Was that close?
In Greek, it's Tsamadia.
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 Tsamadia. Start the first part again.
Tsa.
Sa.
Tsa.
Sa. It's like a combination of a C and a Z.
Yes.
Sa.
Tsamadia. Like
Tsamadia.
Yeah.
Well, I do it with an Italian accent.
Yeah. Like Chadwick, Chadwick.
Okay. Tsamadia.
Tsamadia.
Tsamadia. Maria.
Tsamadia.
Tsamadia. We have Eleni on the show today, who's a lovely artist living in Athens, who I've met over the last few months, several months now.
Yes, several months.
How's it going?
These several months? Amazingly.
Oh, perfect. I meant today, or live, or...
Yeah, I don't know, life has ups and downs. Today was kind of steady, I guess.
That's good.
Yeah, it's good.
You said you made some art today?
I made some art, yes.
So describe what you made today.
Today I was really, really confused. And I started second-guessing my project about my solo show.
Okay. You have a solo show coming up?
Yes, I have a solo show, luckily.
Okay.
April, we'll see about it. I'll be more specific when it's very, very official.
Okay. And what kind of work will be in the show?
Conceptual stuff, minor sculptures, some actions maybe.
Okay. Oh. Everything?
Everything. Life will build the show with us, dancing and singing.
What would a show be without dancing and singing?
I don't know, a boring one, maybe.
They happen all the time.
I'll tell you actually what I was thinking today, because I was kind of zoning and thinking of my art.
Yeah.
And I thought, what is art for? This amazing question. We have to ask ourselves constantly to remember why we do stuff. And I'm like, okay, art, it's like to know ourselves. What does that mean? Medicine has discovered, or psychology, or philosophy, or something established.
Mm-hmm.
So I was really, really trying to pick what is the art there for. Like, if you have all these disciplines and all the structures, what is this? It's something in between structures. It's something that it's a process in every discipline, but it's, I don't know, just a process. Art in the few latest year, it's really about process and stuff.
But the end results, are you thinking about people being happy with like the intellectual element of which you came to it, or sales, or a combination of both? Who are you talking to?
No, I'm talking to you. But you know.
No, she shook her head. That's why I want everyone to know.
Look, I mean, like, you're right. Like, when is art spot on? Like, Is it, I don't know.
It's very confusing. And what art spoke to you? Why do you make art? Why do you continue to spiral into a world of insanity that doesn't necessarily make any sense? And possibly other people don't care at all about, or they care too much about, and you can't figure out why.
Yeah, that's really hard.
Yes, it is.
Look, I'm trying to answer, at least temporarily, for
No.
the show or the work I'm doing right now. And I think I'm trying to pick up the stuff that you want to happen, like that stuff can happen. But okay, let's say we come to this world with the baggage of life experience promised. That could be different, like from a person to person, from generation to generation, for sure. But like you need some stuff to happen so much. To I don't know, to make children, to be in love, to not be in love, or to do whatever, like have a career, be rich, something. So yeah, when you need something to happen so much, like could be simpler. Like I want experience. I remember first time each one of us had sex. Like okay, I won't say I'm a virgin. Like I know how to do this. Like no, but you still want that to happen very very much. So this in between space of that was my today's answer.
I like this. Okay, yeah, I hadn't really thought of it in those terms. I mean, I do think of artworks being like children. Unfortunately, all of mine burned, but whatever, it's fine. You move on. It's
But there.
but completely. Yeah, I don't. I mean, I still don't understand the compulsion and why I keep doing it, because even for me, some of the gratification, like the idea of what you think you want to get gratification for, never really manifests or womanfests or births or whatever, you know. But then yet you still must continue. Why? Why must we continue?
Yeah, why? And how? And what's the goal? Like, I don't know.
What's the end game?
Yeah. But I also like, okay, I was thinking very much of Athens drama and all this stuff we're talking right now.
Yes.
And I was speaking in some, I have maybe to explain that my solo would be maybe about the feeling of love, the emotion of love, and the shades maybe, or
The absence of love, or
yeah. The shades something can have, like comparing to love, either have it or not, or fantasizing about it, or either being something like I don't know, plumber loves his screwdriver. From that to how you fantasize love, like for example, you can fantasize love and feel these shapes with anything. Like, okay, I love you, I love God. So you are God, I love you as a God. That's a very simple example of what something.
interesting.
It's weird.
So just dealing with the whole the existence of love, and it's sort of, I mean, love is like it's a sustenance, or at least we're trained to believe it's some sort. I mean, it's also about survival. Like with
Yeah, that's an interesting point.
what
You
about
have
survival?
to develop about the survival of the species or something.
As an adopted child, I think about survival all the time, and why we
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I think that the whole idea started from me breaking up. Okay.
I was going to ask. So it's about love. It must be about breakups as well.
Yes, of course.
Fulfillment.
Yeah, actually, you know something, because this time I broke up, I was really into what I'm doing. I wasn't like just reacting on something. I was like calculated everything and blah blah blah. But still, this calculation was weird. Because like, okay, you do it, let's say you do the action, you break up, you decide don't break up or like have children or transcend your relationship somehow and something else, like brothers or sisters or something. But like there is a rest of this action, the rest that was in your fantasy, in your head, or in your expectations.
Yeah.
That is still there and still have some energy, like spreading on you and your actions. It's like an echo.
I mean, just as an example with that, I remember when I came out of the closet, my mother took it very hard, and as a young person, one of the things I couldn't comprehend or sort of like emotionally bond with her at the time is that she had I didn't realize, like, because you're a teenager. I was a teenager in the 90s who came out, so I was very brave, but that she had both my parents or your family, everyone has expectations or fantasies around you, and you don't quite realize that until you start. The older you get, the more you realize that you're actually imbuing some of those same things on other people.
Yeah.
And it is heartbreaking to realize that a lot of it's just miscommunication and assumptions, and survival. Like, your family, your friends, people want you to like live a really beautiful life. Like, they want the best for you. Your lover, you would hope, right?
Yeah.
You would hope.
They want the best. Let's see. I mean, that's an interesting example because, like, the closet is an amazing fact, but it's also a very clear one. Like, okay, mother, I won't have children. Maybe, who knows? Like, maybe I have this need, but I separate it from expectation of social, I don't know, something. But it's the same, milder for. Okay, Greece is tough. Like, it's tough country.
Yeah.
Because it's really in between the westernization or whatever and the east, southeast.
It's a vortex of the.
Yeah.
Well, maybe vortex is the wrong word, but it's definitely a point in which civilizations are meeting, or cultures, cultural contracts are meeting, I think.
Yeah, but they're meeting like from the beginning of history, these places. Maybe, maybe Istanbul used to be also like that, and Minor Asia, like, used to be like a broader meeting points from civilizations. Italy is also somehow like that. But it's so infused with you have no clear image of anything. Like, you don't know what you deny. Well, let's say, okay, I decide to do a kid. Okay, I know right now that if I decide to do a kid, I split my time in half in order to work and support the kid.
I wouldn't even say half, I'd say split. But it takes up a lot of time. It's a human being. It's a lot of energy.
Yeah, but it's really hard to realize, like, what you sacrifice. And sometimes it's really unclear what you sacrifice. Because we be giving, like, examples, but examples are strong. It's like a caricature of the situation.
Yes.
Because that kind of happens every day. I believe that's much in my work right now. That this fantasy, it's like... before it happens, it's spot on or not spot on already. Like, it's something you want to be happening, or you don't want to be happening, or you'll see what's gonna happen in 10 minutes. It's like time doesn't exist in these kind of subjects. Like when you're making a decision, we have centered again in love, maybe.
Well, I mean, you gotta talk about your process and your work. Yeah, but I'm an old, cynical, jaded bird, so I don't love, please. For me, love is people and everyone and existence, like reality. Just embracing the moment is love. But at the same time, that's chaos. And we're all just big bags of like fleshy emotional water bumping into each other, forcing each other to do awkward things.
Awkward things. Without wanting.
That sometimes brings us pleasure and often brings us pain.
Yeah, but... So, like, okay, that's a really perfect example again. Like, pleasure or pain. That's a binarity. Like, because like something is either good or bad or spotted or random. Like this all in between, fallen expectations. Where are they going? Like
Neither of them have a. You can't have one without the other. I don't think. I mean, really, you can't experience beauty. I hate getting. You know what I'm saying. I hate getting. But they do. They do reflect each other.
they do, because they become kind of your arsenal of criteria. Like I mean about the wrong choices, or not the wrong, the ones that don't represent you right now.
Or just the experience you're having right now.
Yes, or just the experience, but I feel like most of the times we're really guilty about stuff not going right.
Yeah, you gotta let that one go. I'm just kidding. Life is life.
Yeah, life is life, and like I think that in this show I try to celebrate the wrong of stuff going wrong, and that's perfectly okay, because if stuff were, I don't know, like wouldn't be magical, when they be right will be perfect. So I don't know if that's an expectation I'm setting in as a question to this love subject or thematic. But it's like maybe could be a bit of an expectation, like a ritual.
Do you think that, okay, so I mean, I think of art as a ritual and magic and all these things, or I have over the time, and also, you know, I'm not the biggest fan of astrology and all these other things.
This is amazing.
But I do believe in magical principles of existence, in the sense that I do think upon further reflection that one, arts has saved my life. Arts almost killed me. Well, continues to almost kill me, but it also saves me a lot. And I think the ritual of creating certain things, and I mean, with every artist and their practice, it's different. And you do a lot more, generally speaking, you do a lot more sculptural work than I do. One, it's a lot of energy to lug that stuff around and to store it. This is why I try to stick to paper and computers.
Yeah, I get that.
Let's talk about that. How about stuff? When you make something,
I hate it. I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Do you resent sometimes when you have works done, even though they're beautiful, just resent having to store it or?
Yes, definitely. Because when you store it, you look at it. As at least at my place, I have to look at these works because it's one plan. You haven't been to my place. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't have storage. I have a room that Jasmine will stay that I have to de-store it right now and make it.
Oh, I'm sure she'll
livable.
enjoy it. It's an installation. She'll just.
Nice. But I don't know. Like
they're like guilt. Like sometimes they hang there. Like I mean, paintings do the same thing too. I mean, honestly, when I make large paintings, you're just like, oh my god.
But they look at you. Like all these works, they look at you, and so it's nice sometimes because. Okay, I have to clarify that my work right now, it's half of my living space. Mm-hmm. So I have to move around my stuff a lot. So I like looking at them, though that means that I'm bored of them often. So I make something out of them. I destroy them. Most of my works right now I'm destroying to build something else.
I think that's healthy, actually. I mean, you have to work within your means, and if that's the space confines you.
That's healthy. If you haven't sold them or put it up for sales, like I've destroyed work that I put on Satsy. So no one knows that. If someone orders it, I'll make it in 2 days.
You'll make a new one. Oh yes, I understand. When you think about the work that you have hanging around, and I was gonna say, like, is there a sense of when a work is just hovering? Is there a sense of guilt towards what you say? They look at you. Okay.
Yeah, huge. It's guilt, both like sentimental and. Okay, let's have 2 legs in this to stabilize that. It's like the economical value you spent. Mm-hmm. Because I have some sculptures that went like to 1,000 euros. Mm-hmm. That every time you look at it, you know the process. You know that you went there and there and there and wasted this kind of money and this kind of money and this kind of money. You know the faults. You know it could be better. And you look at this frozen living. It's between frozen and living. It's not a photo of your work you can use. It's this who no one wants somehow. Like, if you take it in a perfect world, that would be sold or whatever, and its value would have been something else now. But now it's there. It's something between garbage and a frozen idea that you realized. I don't know. It's garbage when it doesn't have value, I think. For capitalism,
for capitalism, yeah. I mean, that also though, that shapes for me personally. And again, like I mostly have not worked in sculpture, but the thing is, like, even paintings, I do paint on like heavy surfaces of wood, and those start to add up and stack and become quite their own insanity. I think over the years, what I would say is like watching. That was actually an important process for me to notice that I don't know if I would have made the works if I thought I don't make things thinking they have value, because I think once I start to do that, then it's not pure and it's not real or whatever, and we can get into the like what is art and what is a product and what is design and blah blah blah. But I will say that the longer I went on, I found it more comfortable, and to this day I still do this, and I know I would rather give work away. I would rather it find a home. Whether I can't control that home. I don't know what the step parents or the adopted parents are gonna be like, but I prefer that method. And I know curators, and it depends on like where you're at in your career and what people are doing, but you'll get judgment on it. But if someone expresses interest in something, even if it's just like they can temporarily house it or something, I often will be like, you know what, you take it, whatever happens, fucking happens.
Yeah, okay.
There is something very haunting about being surrounded by your work that I prefer to have very clean wall. I hate looking at my own art. I can't stand it.
Yeah, but you know something, like, okay, that will be hardcore Greek traditional art process, but
that would be
the thing I want to share with you. It's like in the school, that some teachers, because it's like a persona-centered kind of teaching, some teachers really insist that the best thing you can do if you want to have an art master's, it's like, okay, of course, a theoretical basis to go further from your bachelor studies, but being there in a space with your work and look at it for fucking 2 years. That would be you in every piece you make. It would be haunting your new decisions for sure, but that kind of saves you doing the same decisions over and over again.
I don't disagree. And I mean, I have lived with works for 10 years. But I don't know,
It's tiresome for sure.
I would also say within that concern of like, once the academic system is also different, like it is healthy for you to look and stare at a work and be like, why the fuck did I make this? Why the fuck is this still around? How much do I fucking love this? But there's also something to be said for, I don't know. Moving on. I'm in the worst place to have this conversation since everything's gone now. But it's really reframed my brain again. I mean, the only thing I cared about was saving the work, and even some of that was just digital, and even a lot of that got destroyed. So there is. But you have to have your own process.
It's in between. Because for sure I'm afraid that I try not to be so attached with my work, because if something happened, it's material, it could be destroyed. Like, for example, if I move to another city, like, what the fuck is gonna happen with my stuff? I don't know. Okay, I'll take them to my families, houses, wherever, in the other place of Greece.
What if Athens burns? What happens if, like, you know, what if chaos?
Yeah,
don't mean that in like a negative sense, but
I don't know. If you have the power, you start again, I think.
yeah.
Because as we were discussing before, it's between the material and your being here. Like, you have talked to many people, tell that, hey, I'm Peter Max, I'm an artist, blah blah blah.
My house burned down.
My hair's been down. That's the new story. But
I'm so sorry about that.
But all these people, like, they haven't forget that it's you're an artist and something you're doing.
Well, that's a good key, which is like, if you're gonna, I know you enough to know now, you're not gonna stop making things. So that's where the balance you have to come up with, which is, well, I know this addiction's never gonna stop. I don't know if everyone's gonna feed this addiction.
Yes.
I know I'm the only one who's the supplier when it comes down to the end. And what do I want that to mean? So, I don't know.
It's really difficult.
But we also live in a very lucky age in which you can do a lot of, digital documentation and, you know, we were supposed to meet about archiving as well, and we will, but this is kind of, we might as well just have it here. That's something to take advantage of and knowing, but I will also say, I had hard drives burn in the fire too, so it was like, but I had to take, I'm of the age of when you had to get my first, like, shows for maybe my first 10 years.
Yeah.
I still had to take photographic slides.
Great.
Do you know how fucking expensive that shit is?
Well, that's great, come on.
And you didn't digitize. No, but I didn't digitize a lot of it. So, like, I spent months. To me, that's more painful than the work burning itself. I'm like, what? So now
It's
you
really
just get your
good.
cell phone, you take a snapshot,
Yes.
boom,
Great.
done, it's over.
I'm trying to keep documentation, try to kind of communicate the process of making an exhibition or a project, or generally what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
That could be also painful because Athens is a really tiny society and people think that you're copying their idea or blah 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 blah, and where did you sell that? Like, yes, we're young, we have this kind of trouble still.
Wait, explain that again. What do they think? You're copying what?
What type of girl came and said like, oh, where the fuck you saw? That was my diploma work you're doing right now. It's like, okay.
Oh, the work that you were doing looked similar to the work
Yeah. I was like, I didn't come to your diploma.
Oh my god.
Okay.
That's not just Athens. That's not just Athens. That happens everywhere.
Yes, but that creates some guilt, you know.
You know what? Some of the most brilliant artists I know in the world, and I mean, not only work happens at the same time in many places.
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, and no one has a fucking hold on, especially in fine art, no one has a hold on anything.
Yes.
But it is fascinating to watch the ego.
Yes, it's the ego, exactly. But that's amazing because...
Oh, you're getting attention for that? I was doing that when I was just in the bathtub. Fuck you.
Thank you.
That's fucking... If you think I don't get that, you're wrong. I get that all the time.
I don't like that. Like, I really like focused people because you have something to tell and talk about, and they're having lives and stuff is happening to their lives. So they have really interesting energy, either good or bad.
Everyone does. You should. I feel now I'm getting into my sexism. You should do this. You should. The one thing about making work is, if you're not happy, this idea of copying, or I mean, and again, I'm not saying that we're just going to this hypothetical person who
Yes,
came to that.
sure.
But this is bullshit on every fucking level. Because everything's copying. How the fuck do you think we got here? And also, how do airplanes work? I still don't understand. So if they weren't copying...
Exactly. exactly.
So fabric sculptures is like somehow isolated to like 3 people? No, I don't think so.
No.
Do you branch out though? Do you have a sketching practice or?
Yes.
I'm just asking.
I have it with me to show you actually. You can have a look.
Oh.
That's the sketching development of my...
Perfect for radio. I can look through your sketches.
Yes.
Oh, these are nice. Actually, these remind me a lot of some work I made about.
You know I'm copying Peter. I'm a copycat.
You have to copy. I never understood when people said to stop. These are nice. Ooh, maybe we'll feature these on the one. I want to look at them further when we're not.
Yes, I know.
We've got to entertain the audience, sort of.
Hi there.
Hey, we remember you're still there.
Okay, yes, that's maybe the thing I want to talk about very much. It's like this rest of stuff happening. It's the remaining energy. For example, like if I go out and I talk to like 10 guys sexually, this energy, if I don't know them, could transcend in a potential romance, or in a potential friendship, or in a potential heartbreak.
I'm giggling because how many times have we been at bars doing this the last few months? Go on.
I know. And we really like it that some friends don't know English to understand what we're talking about.
No.
Perfect.
This is for an American audience, don't worry.
Yes, okay. I mean that, yes, this remaining energy that's lost between you not remembering it, or potential, or dreams, or past experiences that are haunting this remaining energy. Like, for example, many negative people that will talk to 10 guys in a bar, but the next day will be, So...
You and I are a bit more optimistic.
Yes, we are. Come on.
It's fun. That's why I enjoy hanging out with you.
It's between optimistic and playing or being cool.
We're playing with the field. We're just having fun, and we want to see what the night will bring, and what people will say, and what music they'll put on the turntable.
What we're gonna pretend dancing. Yeah.
Just give it to me. Just give me the moment, and let's take it.
Yeah, but it started fascinating me a lot. Like, actually, I have a great friend that's written a book on that, which I don't think I really understand because it's really thick, written in psychology, history, and so on.
Do you want to plug the book and say the name of it?
Yeah, the name, it's in Greek. I don't know if I should mention the book.
Okay, fine.
Okay, let's not do that.
There are no rules.
Yeah, but the book, you can buy it at Politia. The book is called «Το πράγμα, η λέξη και ο κόσμος», in Greek, of course.
Yeah.
It's an amazing book that's talking about this rest of energy, more psychological aspect though. And yeah, I've been really fascinated with that. Like, okay, I've heard since I was born, like at least 1,000 songs about love. Or if not 1,000 songs, 1,000 times the same song could be,
Yeah.
That creates something in your libido, your mojo, your whatever, that's there, and that I don't know if it actually leaves or shrinks.
I call this the Disney effect in America. It's this concept of this.
Perfect.
Yeah.
But
at some point you start questioning what is social programming or media programming, but also internalized. Like, there is an element of us, instinctual, that they feed on, but I find it very unhealthy.
they try to infuse stuff in the social libido of how a generation should romancing. But the Disney effect, maybe, I think I'm calling it Hollywood effect here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's from, Paul Virilio. Paul Virilio, it's a writer.
No, I'm sorry. I'm
European.
I'm American, I never read. Sorry.
No, he's doing that. Like he talks about.
Is there a movie about it?
We can make a movie. It would be really boring. It's about cinema and propaganda.
Oh yeah. I just say Disney is a
Boring
short.
movie.
I say Disney is a shorthand because that's what reaches like the wider audience.
Yeah, sure.
But for sure, 100%. It's like cigarettes too. But I mean, when I give up cigarettes, I find myself watching TV. I'll forget that I smoke, and then like 3 hours into a show, suddenly someone lights a cigarette, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I need a cigarette too. And I mean, like, I feel for the character as well. Like, I want a cigarette for the same reason the character wants one. I'm like, this is exhausting.
It's perfect. I don't know if it's perfect or weird or...
It's gross. It's actually really gross.
Perfect, it's gross sometimes as well. Like perfect.
Propaganda is real. Culture is real.
Yeah, culture is real.
Greek drama is real.
Greek drama is real for sure.
American loudness is real. It's all real. It's all real.
But yeah, this rest of possibilities. I think this is the thing.
So this is what you're working with, you think, like currently? I mean, you don't have a choice in a certain sense. It's your life.
This is one of the main elements, let's say. I don't know if I'm working on that. Mm-hmm. It's center in this I'm doing now.
So if you were, on the same vein, like as a burgeoning artist, if you're contemplating these issues and you want to know like why the work I'm making has meaning to me. I mean, are you engaged in like a social change of some sort, or do you think?
Unfortunately, not.
But I mean, the heart is all social change, like on a certain level.
Yeah, actually, that bothers me a lot because I think I have a social aspect. Mm-hmm. But I think that this social aspect is so... how can I say this? Like, how can I put it? I'm really interested in the stuff that haven't been official yet. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, when we say Greek art, we have a history, tiny and unknown to the broader audience, history of artists. Mm-hmm. We can go back to Acropolis if you want, but
you're speaking more contemporary, post World War II.
Yes. So we have a history on that. Sir, I'm having beer, and but it's really weird because the process. Athens is tiny. Who knew who was the patron to whom, and what happened when, how, it was the junta, then some people did that, and then the other did that, then they became official. Because it's in so small scale, really, really much what's aesthetic and what's an actual decision of the art.
You gotta let all that go.
I know.
You gotta let it all go. This is the one beauty of America, I mean this in utter sincerity, that right now we live in a time of obvious uprising and historical awareness, and you should never not be aware of that. But when you start to make your work, I can see how it can be very suffocating coming from a place where you're obsessing about that. I'm from a place where everyone's always taught, fuck that, and make something new.
Yeah.
Which has its own problems. But that said, it is very freeing to, as a white man from America, just saying freeing. I'm well aware of it, audience. I'm well aware of it. It is, I think it's important for your personal growth to just be like, fuck that history. You're not unaware of it.
Yeah.
Like, it's one thing if you're like Paris Hilton or something, being like coming in and just being super naive and... that was a terrible.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying, like, you're aware of it, but you've also got to allow yourself that ability to be free.
Yeah. Yeah, that's tricky. It's both ways. It's tricky. Like, I don't know.
It's very tricky.
It's real tricky. Now I'm picking also for this show on Rebetico songs. Like, so I don't know why. Like, I'm obsessed with this kind of stuff right now. Like, if you go into the stories they were singing about, because it's like the same tin 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 thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like whew, before music that happened. Like, people lived and had like extreme passion about the things they were doing. There were few, so the passion was bigger, maybe. So that's another thing. Like, when you're doing 10 things, how passionate can you be about them?
I think about that not just because of, I mean, I've been watching a few documentaries recently, but with concern to, I'm trying to use the right words, I don't want to get in trouble here. No, but ancient traditions of dancing across the world, like in Thailand and parts of Asia that I've never been to, but using bamboo sticks and doing these, like, where there were no, using the bamboo sticks as drums, creating these, they actually created dance patterns on the floor, making the beat, and then people dance around them, right? And I was watching that and I was thinking, unfortunately, with contemporary art, and in my lifetime, and I'm assuming a part of your lifetime, the cultural influences of these, like, we're being mediated this version of contemporary art, which, skipping the capitalism part, just the visual side, like, as an artist, as someone who is, like, driven to love visuals and beauty, I was like, whoa, actually, I thought I was doing a good job of avoiding this Disney brainwashing of contemporary art, but I think you can't avoid it.
You can't avoid it, but you can be like, okay.
And there's no pure. I just want to be really clear.
It's really nice you mentioned Disneyland. Disneyland. Because...
my hatred for Disney is so strong, it's unbelievable.
I don't have an opinion, because, like, I was too young when it's like 1994. Many stuff was already done.
Stuff was done. Mickey Mouse is racist. Let's just start there.
Sure,
but now all the comic book movies and stuff are out of Disney as well. You know, and that's another trope.
I think the first one I saw was The Lion King, so everything before that, it's unknown to me. Or I just seen it referentially.
No, for sure.
Alice in Wonderland? What the fuck is this?
Have you watched the original?
Yes, but it was awful. Like, it was... The original was black and white.
You gotta smoke weed before you watch it. It's amazing.
No. It's too simple.
Is it? Have you read the book?
No, I haven't read the book.
You should read the book.
Yeah, I like it, right?
It's one of the few books I've read, but you should.
Okay. You said something amazing. The other day was out with a guy I really, really like. And I don't think he likes me back because he's too old. But he said that, like, I told him, like, imagine, like, we two, that could be pretty. It would be nice. He was like, okay, you know, life is more difficult than just an aesthetic approach to the situation. Like, and then I was like, okay. I don't know how to take this, if it's about me or if it's about life. He's into philosophy, so I bet it was something in between.
Is this a bartender?
No.
Okay, just making sure.
Oh, the bartender, there is another joke. He's amazing. Let's go there tonight, please. Yes.
We're going on Sunday, I think. Club.
Sunday?
We'll talk about it off air.
Yes.
Do you need water? Do you need anything?
I have beer, I'm fine.
Okay. I've got my raki.
Nice.
I try.
Yes, but this was something really, it shook me up. I was like, yes, actually, beneath how hurt I am right now, I agree with you, and you're right, because you don't let your emotion or horniness to pierce your life.
Oh, yeah. That comes with age.
That comes with age, yeah.
There's windows, and then it disappears. Don't let anyone fool you.
Yes, I believe so. Like, how can you do this? Like, you do this with everything, okay? Like, 1994, we were the anorexia age. Like we suspend ourselves from pleasures of eating or drinking stuff. So you can do this, I'm sure.
When you were born?
No, when I was born, like in my teenage years.
Oh, okay.
But like food was something unimaginable for a girl to have. Like, what are you, fat? You're eating? It was like that. So is it the same? Like you suspend yourself from loving other? Like, what are you, stupid? Are you gonna fall for this? She's just doing that because she's out at the bar. At her house, it's like, I don't know, gross and weird. Or really dangerous.
Oh.
So you get my point?
I
It was
do.
a stupid point, but
Well, in 1994, I was going to many dangerous apartments. It was a different time. It was a different time.
dangerous. What is dangerous?
Exactly. What is dangerous?
Actually, I think that when I have a perfect night, it's dangerous. Like I go with someone or with friends or whatever, I have the perfect night. That could be dangerous for tomorrow because I want this night again.
That is the danger part. With the delusion of this can happen. Yeah, a beautiful night is astounding. They are rare and far between.
Dangerous.
But also, you can finagle the skill of realizing that even the most terrible night is quite frankly gorgeous.
In Athens, for sure. Yes, people, come in Athens, buy houses.
Oh dear, yeah. You know, for the secret sugar. Yeah,
Shall we infuse the invest through your local art market?
I think you guys are doing good on your own. You don't need to. This podcast is not going to help that. If anything, no.
I know.
If anything, the only thing this podcast is accomplishing, besides having a wonderful conversation with you and other people, is that everyone still knows I'm smoking, and I promised to quit smoking like 4 months ago. As I roll a cigarette.
I remember that.
Sorry, Mom and Dad.
Do they listen to the podcast?
Oh my God, I hope. Probably not. Part of the reason that I like to just keep talking and rambling and not do edits is that you really have to be dedicated to get through the show. You have to be to get to the nuggets.
Let's,
What is there some stuff that you want to cover? Let's see. Hold on.
We talked a lot about dating.
Yeah.
Let's talk more seriously now.
We talked a lot about dating. I don't remember that.
Like life experiences rather than art.
Okay.
But this is actually, I want to return back to this, like many women to the history of art, which is really, let's be political, tiny about women. Like you have men drawing women, blah, blah, blah.
Muses, love.
Muses, yeah. But how many girls or women do art for the male gaze? Like that could be the opposite for sure, like men doing art for the women gaze or something. But
the homosexual gaze.
The homosexual gaze, the lesbian gaze, could be all the
gaze for days. Oh, hold on.
Gaze for days. Yes. Gaze for days. Let's say that several times.
All right. Well, what were your... So...
Yes, the thing I would like to say is that, like, how do you know what you're doing? Like, I think that when I don't like one of my pieces, I was really suspended on the need of me saying something for someone specific to hear.
Okay.
That could be Jesus Christ, that could be my father, that could be, I don't know, Jeff Koons, that would be like...
What a trio, that was a good one.
Yeah, but you know, the male gaze could be your teacher, the academia, your potential persona could be a restricting gaze upon you.
Yeah.
So it's really complicated. I find this really complicated. Like I think of that every day. For who are you doing what you're doing? Are you doing that for you? For how you want people to see you? Like that could happen a lot. I'm really into this.
No, but if you're thinking, I mean, my thought on that is they're winning on a certain level. I mean, you do have to analyze the goal of what's going to happen. You have to, but I think if you just start making work for yourself, you can let that go. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, it's impossible. I'm a man talking, and
yes, fuck the patriarchy.
Sorry,
but that's amazing because for sure I'm doing work for myself. I feel like it. I am doing it. I unfortunately don't make money out of it, so I'm doing it for myself right now. So like.
Secret. No one makes money off of it. Secret.
Some people do, don't they? Like.
They're liars.
They're liars. Okay, yeah. But how do you know who is yourself? Like, you have so many opinions and views infused on yourself that you're like, okay, sorry, grandma. I don't know how else can I explain this. For example, for that's concerning my soul. What we'll say right now, it was this morning. I was thinking like. Because I was a girl and I was growing up in a village, my grandma always said like, be careful because this specific path has like wild dogs. And I was like, and I just follow that opinion, that this path has danger there. That if you like simplify this saying, every path has dogs, but like it's really difficult to know why you're afraid this path. That if you see that clearly, you maybe are like a bit closer of doing something for yourself rather than the restrictions you've been having for you to figure out yourself. Like it's complicated.
No, I mean, I grew up never wanting to leave Kansas. Like I was, like the same thing, I've had these thoughts where I realized that on a certain level, I had many influences of people going, Peter, you should get out, you should go see the world. But when I realized the majority of the conversations and the people I was socialized around, in fact, everyone was like, why would you want to go anywhere else?
Yeah,
and
it's like Europe is it, or...
Europe was just a twinkle in baby Peter's eyes. I don't know if I've ever told you though that as like a very young kid, the only place I want to go, like when my parents asked, to go on vacation, the only place I wanted to come was Greece, and I.
What movie have you seen?
It wasn't a movie. No, I was just obsessed with Greek mythology.
Oh, that's more healthy than Greek at wedding. So.
Oh yeah, well I'm a bit older than that. That was later.
Yeah, The Simpsons had an episode on Greece.
The Simpsons have an episode about everything.
I know.
Did they have an episode about Greece? I'll have to watch it.
Yes. Homer was washing dishes in a Greek tavern somewhere in Springfield, I guess.
God bless Homer Simpson. He's taught us all many things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But maybe it's really hard.
Those influences are powerful when people and some people I think they don't even like your grandmother. She may not even know. She was not completely. She also knew a lot of things you didn't know, but she also did other stuff that she just kind of imbuing.
Yes, but these wild dogs are kind of becoming a fantasy from a point after. Like, what would have?
Oh, there's no wild dogs. They're all boring. Just boring quasi-mafioso guys who can barely get laid and taking too much cocaine. It's horrible.
I had something totally different, but I'm okay with that.
Wait,
that being said.
What were you gonna say?
No, like fantasy of the dangerous path. You mentioned Greek mythology, like it was Hercules, and it had two paths to take. And he had to make a decision if he would go the easy road or the thorny, tough road, whatever. Yeah, I believe he took the second one. The one with the dogs.
Didn't his hair get cut? Oh, that was Samson, sorry.
Yeah, that's another story.
No, he always took the harder path. I thought that was the Hercules
thing.
That was his thing. That's why he was sexy, right? Because he took
Yeah,
the
but
hug.
take that into consideration as well. Like now, if you take
And
the
Hera just wouldn't let it go. She just wouldn't let it go with Hercules.
no, but you know, like this, for example, okay, you have so many eyes. Like I return to the eyes. Like Hercules, it's gazing toward you. Like, are you taking the difficult road, or are you like an easy peasy kind of person? But like this hard road right now, it's also the outcast of being nice for capitalism standards. So it's I don't know.
With his body? I
No,
know.
I'm not talking about Hercules anymore.
Who are you talking about?
Life.
Oh, life. Life.
Yeah, like I'm like you're having this part, this road, and when you the fucking second you'll make the decision, or of like, do I want to be Hercules or do I want like to be Republican? I don't know what's the other road.
Vote for Trump? Yeah.
Vote for Trump. Vote for Trump. What would you do? Like you have a criterion that speaks to you this tiny moment before you make the decision. But how is this criterion formed?
Stupidity.
I don't know.
Or life experience.
Life experience, yeah.
Eleni,
Peter.
let's do a part 2.
Yes, okay.
This was fun.
Thank you.
So I have one more tradition for the end of the show.
Closing theme.
We have to sing the song again.
Okay,
Are you ready for it?
perfect.
Do I need to do it again?
Is the same song?
It's the same one.
Yes, please do it again.
Okay. Time Waster Radio.
Okay.
Radio for those who refuse to listen.
You will say this part.
I would like for you to say it too, but it doesn't matter.
Radio for those who refuse to listen.
Nah.
Okay, let's try.
Okay. Time Waster Radio. Radio for those who refuse to listen. Thank you so much. This has been another wonderful episode of Time Waster Radio. We'll catch you, I don't know, when I sober up. Have a good night.
Bye.